us do overthink, just in general. Some people on various scales compared to others, right? Some people overthink a lot, very daily, simple actions, such as maybe even going outside, taking a walk. Some people overthink one thing, but just continuously, just kind of going down a rabbit hole. And, some people just overthink just a lot of different situations, right? I'm sure if you guys sit there for about 2 seconds, maybe 2 minutes, sit there and just think about what you've been overthinking the last few days, whether it's something simple and small, something pretty big, or anything in between. Just sit there for a bit and kind of ask yourself what you have been overthinking the past few days. And again, a lot of us do overthink. Overthinking doesn't really help anyone, right? You're kind of off in your own little world, right? It creates more problems. You start reading more into things than you really should. Something as simple as a hello becomes a, oh my gosh, they like me, or oh my gosh, they don't like me because of the tone, and so on and so forth. You do read a lot into the smallest things, and myself, when I find myself overthinking, I find it really, really annoying, because it's like, oh man, something as small as them not even saying hello can just absolutely ruin me for whatever reason, right? And I mean, it happened with everyone. It's not just me, it's not just you, it's not just the person next door, it's everyone. And it sounds very silly, but it happens, right? And then of course, overthinking, you just imagine, every other scenario, right? You imagine, oh, if this happened, then this is gonna happen, and if this happens, and this, and it's like, no, that's not how it works. That is not what God has planned in store, right? Whatever higher power there is in the universe, it is not how that works. You think one thing's gonna happen, boom, another thing happens, right? Something you can't even conceive at the moment. So that's why overthinking is just not great for you, right? And a lot of people, we all overthink because we just want control of whatever situation we're in, right? Something absolutely, crap hits the fan, and you want to figure out, like, oh my god, what's going on? How can I control this? How can I get my footing? It feels like everything's gone crazy. And then you start overthinking, like, alright, I gotta do this and this and this. You just gotta slow down a little bit, right? And then, again, a lot of people overthink because, this is kind of like daydreaming, right? A lot of people fantasize about the perfect moment. Oh man, I wish I could have said this to that person that said this to me. That would have been awesome. Or they go, oh man, this is, what I should have done instead of this. Whatever. If only I remembered this in this situation. You've got to just let it go. You just got to let it go. Whatever you think in that moment, it's what happens, right? Like, yes, you might have the ability of hindsight, right? Looking back on it, it's like, man, I should have said this because this was going to happen, but you didn't know that in the moment. You've just got to let it go. You've got to be easy on yourself. You've got to let it go. Feel whatever you feel, right? Don't act on it. Trust me, letting your emotions take control in certain situations is not the best course of action. However, let your mind race, let it go crazy, and just let it pass. Acknowledge what you feel and be like, alright, I'm feeling, sad, I'm feeling happy, I'm feeling whatever it may be. But let it pass. Don't let that emotion dictate what your next move is, because when you start acting on emotion, that's when stuff starts getting crazy. You've got to kind of keep yourself settled and keep yourself honest, right? Look at everything from a rational point of view. I saw a really great quote from Patrick McConaughey, I believe that's how you pronounce his name, on recording yourself or journaling while you overthink, because you look at that entry or you listen to yourself talk, you pop on your voice memo and you just go say whatever you want into your phone. No one's around, no one cares. doesn't seem like me. I don't act that way normally, so why am I overthinking the situation? And it happens, right? You're in a situation, you might not be used to it, your emotions get a little out of control, so on and so forth. And you look at that moment in your journal, or you listen to it in your voice memo, and you're like, damn, I really sound like a wuss. That's usually how it is most of the time. And another great quote is, I don't know who said this, but it goes along the lines of, you suffer more in your mind than in reality. And that is true. You sit there, in the darkness of your room, the quietness of your room, wherever it may be, and you just think and let your mind go crazy. And then when you rock up to wherever you rock up, or whatever the case may be, you start to realize that that situation you thought of might have happened, and it may be happening, is not as bad as you think. You might be overthinking, oh man, I don't want to go to the gym, I'm too out of shape, overweight, people are going to laugh at me. And then all of a sudden, you just go to the gym, and you're like, man, no one really cares about me. But that's how it goes, right? And, of course, some actions, I kind of already discussed it, but some actions that you guys can take in order to kind of stop yourself from overthinking. Like I said, kind of just assess yourself, know what you're thinking, and be like, alright, I'm thinking this really bad thought, but I'm just gonna let it pass. You know what I mean? Just let it pass. Me personally, I ask myself, I'm like, why am I thinking this at this time? Why am I feeling this? This is unlike me. But again, that's when you can journal, that's when you can voice memo, and you can be like, alright, look back on it a few days later and be like, okay, that was very unlike me, what just happened? And then, action kills any sort of doubt. If you're overthinking too much, if you're overthinking going outside, because the weather might get bad, just go outside. Because as soon as you move, there's some sort of different consciousness that takes over, and your brain just automatically, like, click of the fingers, switches, and you just don't think. You know what I mean? If you just move and you do the thing you don't want to do, eventually, before, it's funny because I've had this experience in the past where I will overthink even while doing the thing. And I remember one of the moments when I was in school, I would always overthink getting on the bus, because I'd be like, man, I gotta get on the bus, find a seat, what if I'm standing, blah 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 blah. And then it's funny because I remember being on the bus, and I remember thinking those exact same things, and it's like, wait, I'm already on the bus, and I'm already sitting down, like, what is going on? But, sometimes you overthink too much to the point where it's like, you're doing the thing, you're overthinking, and now it's like, oh, what's the point of me even overthinking? And then of course, some people overthink, because they want to be perfect, they want to do this thing perfectly, they want to, do the action, do the event, do whatever perfectly. And you, honestly, as long as you do it right, you've just got to do it. Because then, once you do the thing, you can make it perfect as you're doing the thing. You're never going to be perfect at it, boom, click of the fingers, oh my gosh, I'm perfect. Do the thing, and then as you do it, become better at that thing to the point where it looks perfect. So those are kind of the key ways to stop overthinking: action, and then just assess, self-analyze. I've said that before in previous videos, but you've just got to self-analyze why you're thinking this way. Again, journal and voice memo, trust me. I know some people are like, wait, what? 10, 20 minutes of talking to yourself or writing it down and just spiral, just go crazy, just say whatever comes to your mind. It can be on topic, it can be something completely random, because then when you look back on it, you're like, what the heck was I thinking in this moment? You gotta look at yourself and you're like, what is going on? But that will do it for this video, guys. Everyone does overthink, I do want to say that, and I don't know if there's any way of really controlling it, right? But hopefully you guys learned something from this video. Hopefully you guys learned how you can deal with your own overthinking. As always, there is a link down below to my Patreon where I do more in in-depth life lessons and kind of motivational talks, kind of building that community over on Patreon. So if you guys